Hi, I'm Brian DeWalt, and with me today is my grandma. Okay? And Grandma, you're my Grandma Fox.
Yes, wonderful.
Okay. But your maiden name is?
Irene Wendling.
What's your
Irene Wendling.
What's your middle name?
Marie.
Marie. Irene Marie Wendling.
Mm-hmm.
And Grandma, when were you born?
February the 18th,
What year?
1906.
1906.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago. Now, who are your parents? What were their names?
Frank and Linnie Nee Eisenhardt Wendling.
All right, her first whole name is?
Linnie.
Linnie.
Linnie. Linnie.
Okay. And Frank?
Frank E. Wendling.
E. Wendling. What's the E for?
Elwood.
Edward.
Elwood.
Elwood.
Elwood, yeah.
Elwood. Okay. Now, I know you've had a rough life.
Yeah.
What? Your mother passed away when? When you were how old?
3 years and 4 months.
3 years and 4 months. Do you remember anything of your mom?
Yes, I remember the time when she used to put a little sugar in a little dish, and I still have it. I gave it to your mother too.
You gave it to Mom?
Yeah, and there I put my little fingers in. It was a little plate container where you put sugar in, and then there I used to eat sugar, a little sugar out of that dish. And I remember that, but I don't remember too much otherwise when she was alive. I just remember her. She was a tall woman.
Oh, she was tall.
Tall, yeah.
That's where I get some of my height maybe.
Right, and but at the time I didn't remember. She was very sick. She died in June, and a very hot day.
What did she die of?
Consumption, they called it. There was not too much cure for that at that time.
Oh my! So if that was happening today, she'd probably
Yeah. She would have taken to the hospital. I don't know too much about hospitals that time.
No, it's
Pretty.
it was not like it is today,
not
is it?
to today, yeah.
No.
And then, well, I remember the time though when she had passed away, and they kept her in the home for so many days, maybe 5-6 days. And the undertaker used to come and do something and push down the screen, and I saw Mom laying there. And he didn't say, "Now you get away." He was very nice. He stood there, and I was standing with him by his side.
See your mom.
And then the day she was buried, I remember it was horses that carried the hearse up the hill.
Where's she buried at?
Salem Bible Church.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. There was my pop was a member, and Grandpa was the Wendlings. It was a Wendling church for a long time.
Okay, so she's buried up there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to seek her out sometime.
And then we had twins after me, and they are buried there, but they were only 8 months, so they passed away a year before Mother.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Well, how many brothers and sisters did you have?
Well, I have Lloyd and Johnny. Those were the older ones, and then and then the twins. But Mom contracted consumption after the twins.
Okay. And
So she passed away a year after the twins.
Okay. So no, Lloyd and Johnny are home with the Lord now, aren't they? They passed away.
Both, yeah. Yeah, they're going. Johnny's going about 10 years, and Lloyd is going 4 years.
Yeah. So
they're buried up there too.
They're buried up there as well.
Church, yeah.
Tell me about your dad.
Well, my dad, when he married, he bought a little farm, and there they lived. And then, when Mom passed away, he worked on the railroad. He was working on the lawns, taking care on the flower beds.
Oh, okay.
At the lawns in the stations. Yeah,
the stations.
That's what his job was. And there he worked on the gang, with the gang. They call it a gang. You know, there were about 10 men.
So.
And he was at that time, I think he came away from the Lord. He was not so so conscientious, you know. He was just with the gang, and I always thought he was he was not so close to me.
Yeah.
He was close, but not like a dad should be. Hmm.
Yeah.
Being mother wasn't there anymore, and then of course when mother had passed away, we were at home for 2 weeks. We were there. He had an elderly lady took care of us, and then we went up to my grandpa Wendling, a mile up the hill. My grandpa Wendling lived. And my grandpa and grandma Wendling took us in, Lloyd and me.
That was Lloyd and May.
Uh-huh,
Now, they were Pappy's, your dad's parents.
My dad's parents, yeah. Hmm.
Okay, they took care of you.
Yeah,
Is that the farm that's down 100?
No, it was up on the hill where they had the peach orchard. I don't know whether I do not know whether you remember that peach orchard.
No.
Up the hill.
What hill is
The
this?
old Wendling's home, the old homestead.
Okay, is this up near Salem? Up on that hill?
Near Salem Church. That's where Grandpa Wendling lived. He had a fruit and
That's
vegetable farm.
That's
That's what they did.
Okay.
Yeah, but they were. See, my dad's mother died when he was 14 or 15.
Your dad's mother died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was hired to his uncle for a couple of years before he got married. Well, then there was Pearl yet. That was my aunt, and she wasn't grown up. She was about 14 when my mother died, and she kind of nursed me for a couple of years. She took care of me.
Pearl.
Pearl.
Now, Pearl is
Pearl was my dad's sister.
your dad's sister?
The youngest, yeah.
Okay.
Well, see, my grandma Wendling died too, a couple of years before my mother.
Your grandma
Yeah, my dad's
died.
mother, yeah. She was a Walter from Bally.
Okay.
He was a Catholic, and she was converted then when she married my grandpa Wendling.
Okay.
Yeah.
I follow that.
They're all buried there at Salem
Oh, no, wait.
Church.
Let me get this right. Is Pearl
Pearl.
No, wait, no.
Pearl was from Pappy's
No.
my Pop's sister.
No, the one that married, that was a converted Catholic from Bally.
But that was his mother.
That was his mom.
That was Pop's mother.
That was Pop's mother.
Yeah.
Was she the one that you told me used to play the accordion?
Yeah, she used to play the accordion up where Wetzel's garage is. You know where that is? Beyond St. Peter's Church is a Wetzel's garage.
Okay.
One of the Wetzel boys is a teacher at Salem, and one of they had twins, Wilson and Wetzel, and one is a UCC pastor in the conference where my son is,
Yeah.
Aaron, and the other one is a teacher at Salem Bible Church.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But she's the one that used to play the organ.
Where they lived when they were young.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And she used to play the accordion on a Sunday night. They had no church in that area, you know. And then when everything was quiet and they sat on the porch, she and Grandpa and the children, and then she used to get the accordion out and play the accordion, and then the neighbors used to say, "Oh, listen to that wonderful music, and how Melinda is singing with it." She used to sing and play the accordion, and she never knew a note. I do that a lot with my
So
organ piano.
that was your dad's mom.
Yeah.
So that was your grandma.
Yeah. But I never got to see her. She died before I was born.
Okay.
But then Grandpa married another widow, and then he had George and Rob, you know,
Right.
oldest father-in-law. Yeah. Just where they come from.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a history of that. Wonderful.
Okay. I just want to get
when
the people.
when my mom passed away, then Lloyd and I went up to Pearl's home, to James Wendling.
Yes.
And he had us for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We were up there for 4 or 5 years.
Uh-huh.
And then Dad kept his farm down where Mother died while he was working in Alberta. He rented it out. But then later he got involved with a lady that he knew, and she was a widow, and he brought her down to our home, and she stayed with him for 42 years, but they were never married. But she was very bossy, but she was a good cook and a good worker.
They were good friends, companions.
Yeah, but he got never married to her. Yeah.
What was her name?
Lydia.
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 Now that was with your dad.
Yeah, and then we came down when he moved up. I was about 8 years old, and then Lloyd and I stayed with Dad there till I was 14, and then
on the farm.
But we had a rough life. We had to work hard every day, 8 hours out in the fields, hoeing corn, and he rented some land around there, which is developed now in houses, and some company had it. The Singmasters company owned it, and they said to my dad he could have all the land there to farm. He wouldn't have to pay nothing. But we worked. He put corn in and wheat and oats.
You didn't have a tractor.
No.
Did you have a plow with a horse?
Yeah, 2 horses.
2 horses.
And he only had a cultivator with 1 horse. And what he didn't catch with the cultivator, we had to follow up with the hoe.
You and your brother?
Yeah, Lloyd.
That was tough years.
That was tough.
Now
And Johnny was raised by Grandma because he was born at Grandma's. She was Johnny, Lloyd, and I.
All right. You said Lloyd and you were at the farm.
Yeah.
And Johnny was where?
With his grandpa Eisenhardt. They took him because his mother died, but he was there mostly all the time. He was born there, so Grandma kept him like it is,
Is that sun bothering you?
No, not at all. No,
I can see it in your glasses. I didn't know if it was bothering you.
No, not at all. No,
okay.
That's that.
Is that better? All right, then you were with your dad.
Yeah, but it was a little hard. Everything was a little tough, She was not too kind to us at times. And we tried to walk
straight and narrow.
Yeah, and
was she a Christian?
What's that?
Was she a Christian?
Well, yeah, she used to sing in church. I couldn't understand. I was young. She used to sing duets with another one in church, and they'd go to church. Oh yes, but as I say, she was not a full-born Christian, or she wouldn't have been kind of so rude to us. She was really rude at times.
You were going to Salem Bible Church then?
Yes.
Salem Bible Church. Not too far.
Yeah. Well, then I left home, and Grandma Eisenhardt always said, "Now, Irene, I have 3 men." She had her husband and her father-in-law and Johnny, and she says, "I have this farm." They had just bought it after Mother died. This little farm.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she said, "We have enough to take care of. We can't take more. We can't just take you and then leave Lloyd." And she says, "We can't take all of them because your dad has to have responsibilities too, or he feels free."
You're right.
Yeah, and then but she says, "When you're 14, Irene, you come to my house. Then you're going to help me, and then if you want to, Johnny will get a job for you in the mill, in the silk mill, and then you." In the evening, when you come home, you can only work 8 hours because you're only 14. When you're 16, you work 10 hours.
Yeah.
But she says that will be a help. And the week I was 14, I was to go to the dentist to have a tooth taken care of. And so I asked Grandpa Wendling. He went every week to McConsey with his eggs and his butter from his little farm,
Okay.
And they got groceries once a week. So Dad asked him whether Irene could drive along down to McConsey, and then she could go to the dentist and take care of that, and then she can go to her grandma for the weekend up to McConsey, to the pike there. Oh, that suited me. And I thought, I'm going to pack my suitcase, whatever the necessities I have. I didn't have too much. And I'm going to be 40 next week. I think I might stay. And I came to the dentist then. We drove down with Grandpa with the sled. It was snow and ice.
It was a sled?
With a
horse?
sled, yeah, with a horse and sled. And then when it came to the dentist, he checked it. Well, Irene, he says, I cannot do it today, I'm full. But she says, are you going out? He knew me. You go out to your grandma, Eisenhart, and then I'll take care on Tuesday. Oh, I said, then I have to stay till Tuesday. All right, I got in touch with Grandpa and said I was not going along back. It couldn't be done today. I was going out to my grandpa, Eisenhart's. And that's what I did.
And you stayed?
Well, yeah, and when the grandma was away and she came home, I had the table set, I had the potatoes ready to eat, and she was so tickled. They were away working for someone that had a sale. They were helping these people out to get the sale ready for Saturdays, and this was on a Friday. And she says, oh, she was so surprised when she came home and I was there. And then after we had the dishes away, I sat on my grandpa's lap. He was such a dear soul. And then I said, oh, Grandpa, I said, I'm so glad I'm here. Then he said, Irene, he said, if you listen to us and make no trouble, he says, we are going to keep you. You can stay here. We're going to tell Johnny to ask for a job in the mill, and then you're going to stay with us. Oh, I said, wonderful, and I gave him a kiss. And I said, I'm so glad, I said.
How did your father feel about that, though?
Well, I wrote a letter the next day and told Dad I had a job in the mill and I was not coming home. I was coming home on a Sunday, it was then the week after, a Sunday a week, and we were coming up. I had some things to take care of, it, some clothing to fetch, but I said I had a job in the mill. And I was getting my working papers, my Grandpa Eisenhart.
You need working papers back then?
I was only 14, and to see whether I had eligible to get out of school. And then, of course, Grandpa went to Mr. Jacobs near the school. He was the director and one of the heads of the school district, and he asked him about Irene. Oh, yes, Mr. Jacobs said, I am going to sign for Irene, he said. She is a nice girl, and she deserves it for another home, he said to my Grandpa Eisenhart.
Oh,
yeah, and then he got the papers. I was through I was in 8th grade.
You were in 8th grade, so that's when you stopped school?
Yeah,
When you were in 8th grade. My word.
And that was rejoicing.
You must have been really happy then, huh?
I was really happy.
Now you stayed there until Grandpa took you, right? So you got
then
married.
I stayed at Grandpa's. I stayed there. He passed away then when I was 16 years old.
Oh, your grandpa?
He contracted pneumonia, and oh yes, we were all so sad. And when
how old was your grandpa?
He was only 57.
Only 57?
Yeah, when he died. Yeah.
Oh my, that's young.
Well, and then we had 3 cows and a couple pigs and a horse and about 100 chickens, and we took care of that till Grandma had sale. Then we had sale in May. He died in March, but Johnny and I took all care, and Mr. Fox came there. I was engaged that Christmas, where Grandpa died in March. I got my engagement ring.
When? What month?
I got it at Christmas time, and he died in March.
He died in March, so he didn't see you married. He just saw you.
No. But he liked
engaged.
Mr. Fox very much.
Now let me get this right. He was your grandpa.
John Eisenhart.
John Eisenhart. So he was your mom's dad.
My mom's dad.
Now the woman that he married, was his second wife? Because you said
that was the Wendling. That was the Wendling side.
Oh, that was the Wendling side. This is
his
the Eisen
This
side.
is my mom's side. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now I got this right.
Yeah.
And her name was?
Eisenhart.
No, your grandma's first name was
Mary.
Mary.
Mary Eisenhart.
Mary Eisenhart. Okay.
She was a Hallman.
Before.
Very nice family, yeah, Hallman family. There was a Hallman Spain. That was before your time. I have a picture somewhere. They were 6 or 7 children, the Hallmans. They lived in Palm. They lived there beyond this side of Palm. You know where that park is?
Palm?
Palm, below Palm is a park. But
No,
it's called not Indian Creek Park. It's some other park.
right off of 23?
Yeah, it's right off when you come out of East Greenville, where it goes underneath the railroad.
Yeah. On the left-hand side,
yeah.
you have to. There's a little stream there. You go on the other side, streaming up. Yeah.
That's where her brothers lived, and the family came from.